Welcome back to In Focus. As we discussed a little bit yesterday, New York Attorney General Letitia James is following through on her promise to go after President Donald Trump and his family. This after she filed a civil lawsuit against them on Wednesday for $250 million.
What is fueling my soul right now is Trump.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, and then going home.
He said I know my name personally.
I don't know what I'm going to sue him for, but I'll find something when I'm AG. This is obviously for personal political gain. She's running for re-election in the November midterms, and recent polls show her slightly trailing behind her Republican opponent, Michael Henry. You think now would be the perfect time for her to focus on New Yorkers' #1 issue, combating the violent, gruesome crime crisis there. But just like every other corrupt politician, she'd rather go after the orange man because he's bad. Also, while we're on the topic of useless New York politicians, I want to play this next clip for you of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has a new argument against capitalism. Take a look.
Take a look at it. And it's not just Japan and South Korea, but there are quite a few countries that are really struggling because young people, because under the burdens of capitalism and living under a society that's increasingly concentrating wealth among the rich, we're not having kids, or we're not having kids at the same rate. And we actually need immigrant populations to help balance things out. We can't continue to fund Social Security, Medicare, all of this stuff without immigrants. And it's always been that way. Don't act like this is some new trend or anything like that.
Oh, well, in that case, please petition Ron DeSantis. He'd be happy to send more immigrants your way, AOC. I'll never understand how someone so ignorant and so anti-American gets elected here in the first place. So thankfully, her opponent for the midterm elections is an America First patriot who's promising to save New York, and that would be Tina Forte. She joins me now. Tina, it's great to have you on the show, and it's great to have someone challenging AOC and actually, having a shot at taking her out of office, because we desperately need it. It was brought to my attention the other day. AOC represents Bronx and Queens. I decided I looked and I searched on her Twitter how many times she mentions her district, Bronx and Queens and everything. And never, I think Queens she hasn't talked about on Twitter in the past year at all in 2022. So she seems to be more just a national eye than she does a politician who cares about her district.
Right. She used District 14 to push her radical left agenda. She does not think before she speaks, and that's her lust for attention and her lust for the spotlight. That's a lust for the radical left and for to push her agenda. And it's a shame because New Yorkers are hurting. And for Letitia James to continue on going after President Trump when she needs to protect New Yorkers, that's a shame also. It's all politics. And it's just not right because the people are suffering. And it's not because of capitalism that no one's having kids. It's because of Democrat policies. It's because of high inflation, high regulations. It's the tax burden. It's the bad economy. It's the Democrats are running everything. They have the Senate. They have the House. They have the presidency. AOC does not represent the district. Letitia James is not doing her job. They all need to step aside and people need to vote them out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another reason that people in New York maybe are scared to, or at least questioning having children, because maybe they don't want their kids to get murdered. That's probably a good reason, because murder and violent crime in New York is through the roof, and it's that way across the nation. And we've seen the headlines of little kids, 2, 3, 4-year-olds getting shot, a stray bullet going through their car door and striking them in the head. It's terrible what's happening in New York.
And they're worried about President Trump.
I'm sorry? Go ahead.
And Letitia's worried about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's all she's worried about is going after him.
Yeah.
It's all politics. And AOC will never speak on the issues. She signed off on the very bail reform that has these violent criminals back on the street.
Yeah.
She took police off the subways. This is where this is the problem, and no one will call her out on it. I'll call her out on it. I will go to Congress. I will tell them I will hold back federal funding. What Republicans will stand with me and say they will hold back federal funding to districts and to communities that hold back the police, that defund the police. That's what we need more of.
Tina, what do you think of her saying that they need more immigrants in New York to combat the lack of children? They essentially they need more immigrants so that they can start taxing them, so that they can pay for their big government BS plans. I know you have a very hard on immigration platform, illegal immigration. Obviously, it's crippling this country. It's crippling American families. What are you going to do about that?
Well, I'm going to turn them around and send them back home, and they have to come in the right way, the legal way. And I will continue to fund building the wall. I will work with Republicans to get that wall up and going, and we need to tell them to turn around and go back. We do not need open borders. We can't even take care of our own people, let alone illegal immigrants right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, on top of AOC just being a useless politician, I think she's one of the more ineffective members of Congress. She doesn't actually do anything. She just does her Instagram lives and sips her wine and eats from her charcuterie board. But when she does do her job, or when she's actually just shows up to work and is in hearings, she doesn't sound very persuasive or very intelligent. I have a clip right here of her questioning Bank of America's CEO yesterday. Let's play that.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm just having a tough time. This is about $25.2 billion in loan amounts in your bank, correct? And
not anymore. No, it's down.
But at one point in time, and so we are looking. And so you're uncertain as to why the bank has not chosen to enroll in the SBA portal?
I said we will get you the information.
So Tina, just by that clip alone and all the other dozens of clips we could play of AOC, comparing that with you on this interview right now, you already are much more well-spoken and much smarter than AOC, it would seem.
Thank you. Yes, she does not think before she speaks. She just likes to ramble on. She's woke, and woke does not solve problems.
Yeah.
Woke does not fix anything. Her left agenda is burdening Americans. It's burdening us. That's why people are choosing not to have children right now, because we can't afford them under Democrat policies, her Green New Deal that's raising prices on everything with the regulations. It's her and her leftist agenda. Mm-hmm. It's destroying the American dream. There, I said it. She's destroying the American dream, her and the Democrats.
And if you want that to change, New Yorkers, Tina Forte, I think, would be the decision for you to make when it comes time to vote AOC out of office. Tina, thank you for coming on the show. A pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.